Hello, citizens of YouTube land.
Hey.
Sorry for the little delay there, if you catch that. We're back, guys. It's your VP, your president, and your VP. I'm getting a little confused here. We're in the midst of March of the Irish, and no, for those of you guys who've just jumped on board recently, thank you first of all for the positive vibes and response that we got from the old boy video.
Yes, thank you.
No, we haven't quit yet with Foreign Film February. We're just going to get back to that in a little bit. We've got a few more films left for it.
We got one more film left for it, actually.
One more. It's time for March of the Irish, guys. So those of you who have been on board, you know what time of the year it is. So without further ado, today's review is Black Mass.
Yep.
Which premiered September 18th, 2015 in the United States. Before that, September 4th, 2015 in Venice, more than likely at the Cannes Films Festival, or the Venice Film Festival.
No, it would have been Cannes.
The 72
Oh, it was the Venice. Never mind.
Venice International.
Forget what I said.
Produced for a budget of $53 million, it grossed $100 million, making it a slight box office earner to just barely breaking even, depending on the marketing, the amount that went into that. So with that being said, guys, it was directed by Scott Cooper, and in a career turnaround, Mr. Johnny Depp. And you may be asking,
as a starring role.
Well, career turnaround, what do you mean by that? Well, guys, Johnny Depp plays Mr. Whitey Bulger in the film. Now, if you don't know who Whitey Bulger was, he was the leader of the Winter Hill Gang, which was an Irish-American criminal organization in Boston, Massachusetts. And they basically ran their own little neighborhood, and they had little squabbles with, well, not really little squabbles, major squabbles, really, with organized crime leaders of the day, and involving the mafia up north, and including other elements in the city. So, at this point in history, the FBI is really wanting to crack down on the mafia. And Whitey Bulger had been doing this thing for a number of years, in and out of jail, you name it, running his organization, doing the things that he does. Now, the funny thing about all this is, guys, is that Johnny Depp's performance in this film is actually truly terrifying.
Mm-hmm. I honestly didn't even recognize it was Johnny until they said, until they named him as Whitey Bulger. And I'm like, no way, that's Johnny Depp?
Yeah, and Benedict Cumberbatch is in this film playing his brother. And those of you who are Breaking Bad fans, you may recognize Mr. Jesse Plemons. He's also in the film.
Or, if you're like us, Friday Night Light fans.
Yeah, which we'll be getting back to that, too. We got some other things to talk about as far as the discussion of where the channel is going to go, and we'll announce that in the next video. So, moving on, guys. So we see Whitey, and he's been doing this thing, and as I said, the FBI is looking for a way to crack down on the mafia. And one of them decides that the best way to go about doing this is to convince Whitey to become an informant for him. Slowly but surely, because the pressure is on him and his gang, he decides that, you know what, this wouldn't be such a bad idea after all. Meanwhile, guys, while he's quote-unquote ratting or snitching on his fellow criminal associates, he's making people sleep with the fishes at his own gang for the same things that he is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this one scene that's really telling, guys, and it truly shows how terrifying Whitey must have truly been, because his son, is sitting at the dinner table, and his son talks about how he got expelled for fighting at school. And a kid mouthed off to him, and he popped the kid in the mouth and got expelled from school. And Whitey teaches him, you didn't get in trouble because you popped him in the mouth, and which in certain cases, yeah, people do deserve that. And it's kind of a weird thing that he teaches his kid because he tells him, you didn't get expelled because you punched him in the mouth. You got expelled because you got caught punching the kid in the mouth. So what he teaches his kid is make sure there are no witnesses to your act of violence.
Yep.
So with that scene alone, you understand just what kind of person you're dealing with. And meanwhile, at the same time, his wife is kind of trying to interject and like, Jimmy, you shouldn't be teaching him this. You know that's not the right way. And he's like, of course it is. And over and over and over and over, we see him commit extreme acts of violence. And he makes several people sleep with the fishes.
Mm-hmm.
Several.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart in that regard, guys. Now, the cinematography, though, one must say that the locations and the cinematography, it's a beautifully shot film. And it's got a really nice score behind it as well. And the acting is very intense. It's just at times, you might actually forget that you're watching Johnny on screen. And just be like, oh my gosh, I'm watching Whitey Bulger, and I'm watching him commit all these horrible things.
Yep.
And much like in real life, okay? So things continue. And Whitey is at the height of his power. And the guy that basically put him in his power, the FBI agent guy, and he is right along for the ride, basically. And he's like, well, what do you want me to do? And turns out, here's the real kicker. He never actually gave them information that would have led to any kind of arrest that they weren't already privy to.
Yeah.
Because there's this part where they show that the FBI agent's actually going in and changing everything around to make himself and Whitey look better. And so it all starts to come crashing down. Okay? Because it inevitably does. And what does a criminal, what is a rat going to do when it's cornered? What are they going to do? They're going to run.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what Mr. Bulger does. He runs. Not before basically betraying everybody he ever knew in the process. And not before all of his other fellow scumbags abandon him.
Yep.
Because that's exactly what happens in these things. Now, you may be wondering, what happened to them all? Well, they were all pretty much indicted right away, except for Mr. Bulger, who went on a worldwide manhunt looking for this man. And funny enough, it wasn't until 2011 that he was actually found and captured, and he fled in 1996, and he was found in California.
Mm-hmm. And he eventually slept with the fishes in prison.
Via a mafia boss.
Yep.
So there's that, guys. And that was the story of Black Mass. And I know we kind of skimmed over a bunch of the story plot details, but that's the gist of it. One other aspect I want to add to this, though, is a mad respect to Mr. Clemens, who actually went to a dialogue coach to learn how to talk, like Kevin Weeks, the character that he plays in the film. And he also watched tape of the act of the man himself in order to prepare for it. So there was that aspect, guys. And as we said, Johnny's acting is very tremendous in this film. I mean, he just puts on a show. He is carrying the whole thing. Everything is revolving around his performance, and he knocks it out of the park. Captain Jack Sparrow, he is definitely not in this film.
Yep. All right, final ratings.
Final ratings. I give this one 4.25 out of 5. What say you?
I'm also a 4.25 out of 5. Yeah.
However, guys, if you disagree, if you agree with the ratings are arbitrary. And as always,
Give me a second.
just remember one thing about us and the ratings.
Hello. No.
Pausation for
Okay.
causation here, guys.
All right, Mom. I'm filming a video. Love you. Bye.
We can edit all that out.
Yeah, the
Silence
problem for
and
future
whatnot.
Jason.
Yeah. But to repeat myself, if you guys dislike or like our views or our ratings, it doesn't really matter because
We're just two idiots with a webcam. Our opinions do not matter, except they actually do, because we have a YouTube show, except they actually don't.
So, with that being said, guys, stay tuned because up next is a movie that we had a hard time remembering, actually. And you might understand why when we tell you the name of the title. The movie up next is Boondock Saints 2.
You almost forgot how to say the movie name.
I did. So with that being said, we'll see you guys next time. And there's only one thing left to say, and that, of course, is
Peace and love from Denny and Son. Bye.